You want to check on the worms with me? Alright, well this video was supposed to be an update on my hot frog and this, but you know, things escalated, so I'll just go ahead and take it quickly from the top of what had happened here. Alright, so here's what had happened. A few days ago, this box, which you might remember as being my original Vermicomposter that's in this series, I had fed some frozen watermelon rinds. A couple days before that, they had a frozen toilet paper roll here. And I thought, you know, they're probably all super into their food right now. I'll go in, I'll scoop them up, the ones that are at their food, and I'll put them in the hot frog because they haven't really touched their food yet. I mean, they have, but, you know, they're still early in development and there's a lot of food in there. Then I started looking in here and I'm like, man, there's not as many worms as there normally is. I started looking around, I'm like, man, this stuff looks really healthy. This looks really great. And I had my fall gardening schedule on my mind, thinking, okay, it's, you know, August, and almost August, end of July here. I'm going to have to start harvesting some of this soon anyways. One thing led to another. This is all of my worm casting / compost / hopefully dewormed stuff that I've harvested from this bucket. This is either unbroken down material or some of the worms that I have left in here that need to move over to my hot frog. I truthfully didn't go crazy with the separating. I just kind of figured if it looks like there's nothing moving, it's probably fine, and I'll separate it. And I just keep making this tower higher and higher because the worms want to keep, you know, getting deeper and deeper into the pile away from, you know, the light, which is not their friend. So what I've been doing is I just keep stacking stuff up, and then, like, obviously these guys were down at the bottom. There's plenty of worms in here. So I've harvested this. I'm comfortable putting this plus a bunch of other pieces that I started harvesting earlier into my new hot frog. Oh my gosh, I've been here so long that the dog is literally bored. Hey, Wally. Yep, he's bored. I don't mind putting some of this new stuff or old stuff in the new. I've already got some of it in there that I started putting in there because honestly, at the end of the day, it's all going to the same place. And if there's a chance that there's some microbes in here that can help jumpstart that one, I'm 100% ready to do it. I also want to put even more food in here, even though there is still some of the 3 rolls that I fed them probably like 5 days ago off to the right. I'm going to put some frozen food in on this left side and then dump some of this stuff on top of it along with those worms that are in there because I really want this to work and I really want to have maximum, I don't know, efficiency. I don't know if it's efficient, but, and also I messed up. I totally messed up on this bucket. I'm probably going to record a video of like what I've learned as a beginner, but essentially, for those of you who've been watching this playlist as it's developed, this bin was started back in March. Now it's almost the end of July. It's July, I think, 19th now. And I waited too long to harvest this. And I think everything was just too rich for them in there. And my population is no more. It's not no more, but it's not as a developed civilization of worms as I would have hoped there would be at this point. So I think that's what went wrong. I don't know. This is my first time doing it, but I'll upload a video soon on, I don't know, what not to do, what I learned. I don't know, something. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this, some frozen melon rinds and some random other pieces that I have in there in here, bury it up, and then I'll show you guys where it's at and show you what the levels look like in there. As somebody who's new to the vermicomposting, especially in a bulk capacity, I don't know if this is a good idea, but this is what I'm doing. I have some watermelon rinds that I froze along with some peppers, sweet peppers, not spicy peppers. And so I'm just gonna dump it on this side. I have a toilet paper roll that's only probably like 4 or 5 days old that was in the old bin that I had already put over here. And then over on this side is the original feeding from probably about 4 or 5 days ago. So what I'm going to do is hope that this works. A lot of hoping. Oh, oops, accidentally pulled open my guys from earlier. Sorry, everybody. Don't mind me. Go back to your vermicomposting. Okay, close enough. And then what I'm going to do is I have these worms, or what, you know, there's some worms in here, and some of this casting that was at the bottom of my bin here as I was sorting it. And most of the worms are filtering their way down as I've been talking to you guys. Oh, see, there's a guy here. So I don't mind that I'm putting some of this stuff back into my hot frog, because at the end of the day, I know it's going to keep breaking down and I'm not worried about it. I would rather err on the side of saving some worms and then taking a little bit shorter for this to break down, because it's already broken down. But that could just be me. So I'm taking this bin. Ooh, oh boy. And then we're going to put it in here. That's exciting. Also, normally it's not this messy, but trying to record and do this all at the same time is not the easiest thing. So, I'm just going to use my hand and smooth this out here, because I want to cover as much of the food as possible, but also I don't want this to get too high at any point, because I'm not quite ready, and I don't think they're quite ready yet for them to start potentially migrating up to the higher tier where there technically isn't really food yet. So I'm trying to make sure that this sits low enough so when these get put in here, the worms aren't as inclined to climb up. But I also know that as the food decomposes, this level is going to go down. So I think for right now, because there's brand new frozen food here, there's a roll here, there's a few rolls here that we saw that are still being broken down, I think I'm going to let this sit a little while. I'm thinking probably close to a week maybe before I check on it and really see how they're doing. I'm really optimistic that they're going to take off in here, and I'm trying to get more to the point where I can let these go a little bit longer in between feedings, and as opposed to what my other bin was on, because I think that's why my population never developed as much. I'm hoping with this, if I feed them a lot, they'll see that there's a lot of food and they'll be more inclined to reproduce and populate. So fingers crossed, everybody. Interesting tidbit, I just put this second tier back on, and I was like, okay, I have all this packing material. I have a clean paper towel that I had to use just to pick up a lot of water quickly that I threw in here. And I was like, oh, I wonder if there's anybody who's climbed up already now, you know, before I've even filled the container that high. And actually, I found a few people, a few little wormies in here. Let's see, where did they go? I just saw a few of them. Yeah, here's the guy, here's some guys. Not a lot of them, but a few of them have already figured out before I even had the bottom layer that full how to get up here. So that makes me think that that's good, that they aren't mad about this, because they can just as easily go back down. But it makes me interested to see how they take, oh wow, there's quite a few of you guys over here for an unfed layer. So I'll be curious to see what they do, or what happens, or how many we can expect up here in a week or so when we check in. I'll have to check again, because I'm not surprised that there's a few up here, but there's definitely more than I thought there would be. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It means they're exploring, and they're not mad. They're not going back to the other place. So that's good.